And we are live. So, welcome everyone to another episode of Who's Got Clout on the Clout Forum. Proudly brought to you by us monkeys behind the scenes. I'm Mark Bentley, and we've got Alex Roken, who is holding down the fort, and we'll hear from him a bit later. And we have today a very special guest and someone who's becoming a dear friend, Lisa, over the time, and one of the first people that I met on the platform. So I'd love to introduce Lisa Mariette. So Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and you're one of my favorite people to talk to. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Alex. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what conversations unfold because we really could go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that more and more, Lisa. It's like, this is really just, when people come on, it's like, this is just our, a cat getting comfortable. We'll just have our initial conversation and they're just going to keep on growing as we keep going. Nice. All right. Well, first of all, for those who don't know you on the platform, on BitClout, which is where we met and where we're anchoring this transmission, you are a holistic wellness coach, yogi, meditation teacher. I mean, you've been an opera singer. You've been so many different things, and you're my kind of favorite person, right? So, how would you summarize what it is you do? If someone says, Lisa, what do you do with your life? What's your occupation?
It's actually very simple. The way that I would describe it is that I'm a spiritual teacher. But the thing with being a spiritual teacher, and when you talk about things of the soul as well as things not of the soul, you have to do a lot of spiritual code switching. So I don't know if you're familiar with that term. I think it is more in the United States we use that term. I don't know if you use it in Australia, but it's sort of unique to the United States because of the history of slavery and of minorities.
Well, you broke it down for me in one of our earlier chats just between us, but for those of us that are in Australia and other places, please do break down code switching.
Okay, so code switching is essentially, for those of you who don't know this, Black people in the United States speak differently when they're around white people and when they're around Black people. And that's called code switching because I'm sure you guys noticed this if you ever saw Barack Obama. When he's speaking with congregates in a Black church, he speaks very differently than during his speeches or maybe when he's meeting with world leaders. And that's because as somebody who is half Black and half white, he has mastered the art of code switching. And all that means is that you are familiar with, let's say, 5 different ways to express something, and you choose the way that is easiest for the other person to receive. So me, for example, I could say, well, I'm a spiritual teacher who works with the tools of yoga, tantra, meditation, Ayurveda, right? But people might hear that and they'll think, a spiritual teacher like Deepak Chopra? And I'm like, yes, but we do other things too. So, and some people are a little scared of the word spirituality or the soul. Some people prefer to think about nature or the universe or source. And again, it's just semantics. We're all talking about the same thing. So the way that I phrase it, I think that is a way for people to understand it a little more easily is that I'm a holistic wellness coach. And so holistic means looking at mind, body, and spirit in whatever way you choose to define that. Spirit is just that part of you that is infinite, that is eternal, that is pure love, pure joy, pure peace. So you don't have to call it spirit, but whatever you choose to call it. And just looking at how all of those things fit together. So it's not that you're depressed because you have a lack of a certain brain chemistry. Maybe you're depressed because your spouse just cheated on you, right? So we look at your life not from a scientific material world perspective, but from a all-encompassing perspective, which includes the material world as well. And my kind of specialization, I do a few different things. I talk about Tantra, which is not sex. It's a small part of it, but it's more the study of energy, especially masculine and feminine energy, which you and I love talking about. Um, I help people find, and again, this is code switching. In Hindu philosophy, it's called your dharma. In spiritual communities, it's called your soul's purpose. And Oprah calls it your life's purpose. But it's the exact same thing. So I work with people to help them find and embody their purpose. I love talking about masculine energy and feminine energy. And then I also teach meditation because that is, and again, this is sort of part of what I do as a spiritual teacher, is I talk about yoga and how it's a spiritual path, because that's how it was designed in India 5,000 years ago. And the key to that is meditation.
I'm just sitting there, like you say, there's so many rabbit holes we can go down, you know, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? And one of the things that I'm loving, Lisa, is that we're living in a time right now where, you know, when we think of a lot of these great spiritual teachers that have come before us, you know, 100 years ago, you know, the Alice Baileys and all these others, that it was a very scary world to even talk about. You know, the witches were burnt at the stake, right, and all the rest. But what's your experience now? Are you finding that it's opening up, like the conversation is, you know, it's easier to have now, it seems? Would you
Here's the
agree
thing,
with
Mark. You're absolutely right. Fear of persecution is you know, whether that's however many hundred of years ago being burned at the stake, or today being canceled or bullied on social media. Persecution is definitely, you don't have to call it persecution, I'll just use that word though. When you are talking about things that sort of maybe get under people's skin a little bit, or make them uncomfortable, or make them question their reality, or maybe question like, oh, I didn't think about it that way, but in a way that sort of pokes them and makes them uncomfortable. Persecution is always a risk. That's one of the risks, actually, when you go into the work with masculine energy and feminine energy. One of the risks when working with feminine energy is when you fully embody your feminine. Persecution is actually one of the risks, because when you're in your feminine, you're vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you share what for you is true. And not everybody's going to be comfortable with the things that you say, and not everybody's going to agree with the things that you say. So, sorry, to answer your question. That being said, I do think that people are a lot more comfortable having these conversations. I think people are craving for it, just as, and I'm going to go into my woo, I hope you don't mind, but just as part of the collective consciousness, we've been wanting this. There have been more and more people having awakenings, even those who haven't had awakenings, kind of sensing a little bit of a shift, getting more interested in spirituality. That's why people like, I like to use Oprah Winfrey as an example. That's why Oprah is so popular. She's tapped into something in the collective consciousness of, deep down underneath all of the layers of ego, of identity, of hurt. If you peel those back, we all have something inside us that's longing for something more, that's longing for beauty, that's longing for love, that's longing for peace, that's longing for kindness. And so she's tapped into that need, which is why she's been so successful. She's successful for many reasons. And for example, I won't tie BitClout to spirituality because I don't want to, be seen as trying to push my agenda or anything like that. But what I will say is that I'm not surprised that it went viral in 6 months. I'm not surprised at all, because the collective was not only ready for it, but needed it, wanted it, and had sort of an emotional attachment, whether that's hatred or anger at the other systems and giving a positive alternative, or getting there, I know this was my experience, getting there and seeing, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. For example, you and I, we met at the very beginning of the platform. As soon as I logged on and I saw your profile picture, I saw the word human design, and I was like, okay, these are my people, right? And then I started interacting with the community. I started Googling because I didn't know who anybody was except for Alexis Ohanian. That was the only person that I knew on the platform, other than my friend Lucy, who's loose. Hi, Lucy, if you're watching. Um,
Hey,
uh,
Luce.
yeah, she makes fire memes. Um, but yeah, I saw very quickly that it was a very special place. It was a place where there was a lot of goodwill, and it was a place of, most importantly, love and kindness and
Mm.
positivity and generosity. And we all need that as humans. But I think especially it's sort of been coming to the forefront of our mind because of how terrible the old media companies, I'm not going to call them social media companies because they're not, they're media companies, and there's 2 billion people working for them for free.
I
But
like that distinction.
yeah,
They're not social.
it's a media company with free employees, 2 billion free employees. But
Mm.
so that's, for me, that's why BitClout is so special. That's why I've been such a stan since day one, is because I Googled everyone. I Googled, well, who is this social capital? Who is this Chamath person? Who is, I did, because I didn't know who these people were, because I live on the other side of the ocean, on a different continent with a different culture. I don't really watch television. Um, like I'm it's hard to believe for people in that bubble, but there are actually people outside of that bubble who have no idea that they exist. So yeah, so I think it's to BitClout is a cultural zeitgeist type of moment, and I think it's because
Mm.
as a collective, we were longing for it and we were given it. So, so in the context of that, with your question, I think there's a lot bigger issues at play rather than just spiritual conversations. If you want to think about it as a secular spirituality with the values of love, kindness, generosity, honoring each other, respecting each other, then yes, the collective, however they want to label it, if they want to label it the spirit or if they want to label it something else, we're definitely ready for these conversations, and they've been happening more. Hope that answers your question.
Mm. Yeah. In the best possible way, Lisa. I'm a big fan of meandering our ways through, really discovering, what's alive in this, because we can sit and analyze and but it's really in the magic. It's in the magic we discover on the journey, right? No, I love that. Now, so Lisa, I want to do a big shout out. We've got Sly, we got MP3, Sean and Luch tuning in on YouTube. So big shout out to anyone listening on YouTube or on Twitch. Please do pop in the comments and all the rest under there and join in the conversation as we go. If you've got any questions for Lisa, you can pop them in there. And you're also welcome to join us live into the Zoom room. Now, back to the conversation, Lisa, because we want to dive into this. So,
Can I just,
one,
sorry, Mark, I
yeah,
just want to say thank you guys so much for showing up. It means the world. Really appreciate your support.
absolutely. Oh, here we go. I've got their comments up here. We've got the DeSo gang, the BitClout gang. Yeah, beautiful. All right, fantastic. So now, when you speak about that, it is 100% what really a lot of us did connect with, right? Is this genuine, authentic connection, which 100% I agree. It's like, I feel like we have the real epidemic we have is a lack of genuine human connection, of these over these years. And when I got to meet you first in person was in the Natra Average call. And that's where I think Natra Average played that role for so many. It's where my heart was blown wide open by how so many different people came together, and we were able to be in that space. And it got crazy sometimes, it got deep, it got meaningful, it got batshit. It was just all over the place. But the one thing was just how genuine and authentic people were turning up. And that's what I think a lot of us have stuck around for.
Yes.
So I mean, I was going to go a bit more into you yourself, but if you want to comment on that, we.
No, all you.
So one of the things I'm very curious about, Lisa, because I don't actually know this. You may have told me, but I can't remember. And how did you find your way into BitClout? What's your origin story?
My origin story is actually really fun.
My
So,
favorite kind.
so Luce, as she's known on the platform, Lucy, as she's known off the platform, is my friend IRL. And so we both live here in, I won't dox you, Luce. We both live here in Spain. And we're part of a community of about, I can't keep track now, but it's maybe 30 or 35 women who were all entrepreneurs. We're all, Matryoshka's here, yay. We're all spiritual. We're all trying to make not only ourselves better. Hi, Matryoshka! We're not only trying to make ourselves better, but more importantly, come together as a tribe, which we call ourselves the tribe. Like we had a little article written about us and all these things. But we want to come together to really make the world a better place. And yes, I know, cliche alert, whatever, but that really is true. So we hold each other, we support each other. It's sort of a, oh, Matryoshka didn't realize she was on video. That's okay.
Sorry, you didn't go on the screen, Matryoshka.
Yeah, you didn't go on the screen. You popped in the top.
You're safe.
Yeah, so
we're the only ones that saw you in your pajamas.
Yeah. So it's just this group of like 30 or 35, just really amazing, really strong, really vulnerable, really just life-changing, amazing women. There's, TEDx speakers, there's I'm so like, I love my friends so much and they're so cool, right? So that's how Lucy and I know each other. Because we were brought together by our friend Jen, she's kind of like she cultivated the little like group of like friends. So Jen sent a message to the group, and she goes, "Lucy and I were having a conversation this morning, and I feel like I should forward it to you ladies so you can see what it's about." And so she forwarded the chat that they were having about BitClout. And Jen, I hope you don't, Lucy, I hope you don't mind. Lucy was like, "You guys need to be on this. Just get on this. Like, you need to be on this." and Jen was like, and Jen's very intelligent. Like, she went to Columbia. She's extremely intelligent. And she goes, "Guys, Lucy's smart and knows things. So I would listen to her on this."
Good work, Lucy. By the way, Lucy said, "Tribe, baby, yeah." And
the tribe! Ooh! So this was, I will never forget. It was on a Friday afternoon at maybe 2:15 in the afternoon. I went on and I was like, ooh. So I got the yoga and wellness profile first, just to make sure I had it. And then I got my profile second, like my personal profile. And then, it was like I was telling you earlier. So then I looked around and I was like, well, who are all of these blue checks? Oh yeah, I know the exact time. Like, when something changes your life, you remember the exact time.
Yeah.
Matryoshka wrote in the comments, "Oh my God, you know the exact time." Also, I have a visual memory, so it helps. Like, I remember seeing a message and it was like 14:16, which in Europe is like 2:16 or something like that. So I went on there and I was like, well, and I'm super curious. One of my archetypes is a researcher. And I said, well, let me look into this. Like, what is this thing? What is this place? Who are these people? So I literally was just blue check. Who is this person? Blue check. Who is this person? Blue check. Who is this person? BitClout. What is this project? And I saw that it had the backing of all of these VC firms. And as I mentioned, I knew who Alexis Ohanian was because, yeah, he founded Reddit, but also, and this was kind of the key, I was like, he's Serena Williams' husband. And I was like, I see you, Alexis. Okay. Yeah. I was like, he's cool. Like, he's a cool guy. And I said, if he's behind this, I think that is sort of what sealed the deal for me, is because I saw that he was one of the people behind the project. And I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And then as I was Googling further, and I Googled who Chamath was, and that led me to Social Capital. And I said, oh, well, what is this? So I went to the website, and it said, solving the world's hardest problems. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. Like, where do I sign up? So I saw that, okay, Alexis Ohanian is one of the 10 funders. Social Capital is one of the 10 funders. I said, we're in very, very good hands. So it was really just a Google search and common sense that made me really excited about the platform. And I started talking to people in the community, and I noticed that they were very much, I Googled like Amanda Johnstone. I Googled like the people who were like public people. I Googled them. And I noticed very quickly that not only were the people in the community, like people who who I connected with, people like Matryoshka, wonderful people. I also noticed that the people, I should put a heart. I also noticed that the people behind the launch team, even though they were anonymous, were very, very, very much dedicated to creating not only a really positive environment. When we were having people very quickly were like, why are there no women? Disparity, lack of visibility. They were very much like, okay, we need to invest in, we need to help women get visible. Because the thing is, it's not women versus men. It's not that. It's one group is underrepresented and outnumbered, whether that's minorities, whether that's an age group, whether that's socioeconomic status, whether that's gender. And the goal is to eventually move past all of those things. And part of the way that we do that is, yes, loving and seeing each other as human beings rather than those labels, but also pointing out when there is disparity. So like BitClout Buffett was doing like, okay, we're going to support female creators. And so I thought that was really special. And then there was also just like how funny and fun it was, because I feel like BitClout I feel like people on the platform are very intelligent, and people who are intelligent tend to be very witty and very funny. So there were accounts like Horny Jail, and I don't know if you know Horny Jail. Yeah.
This is what I love, Lisa, about this platform is like, you think you've seen it all. And it's like, there's like 90% of the platform hasn't been discovered.
No, okay. Well, here's the thing. I spent a lot of time on the platform in the early days.
You said, hang on, we got to get clear on this. Even Matryoshka's like, what?
I'm a big friend of rabbit holes. So like, I really go down because I'm a researcher, right? So I said, so for example, one of my favorite accounts when I first started the thing was Horny Jail. And so Horny Jail is that when you post a thirst trap, you get taken to Horny Jail. You have to pay.
A thirst trap?
A thirst trap, yeah, like Kylie Jenner type of picture. Because when you post a thirst trap is on Instagram when you post a deliberately like sexy picture to get attention.
And you're saying thirst, like thirsty,
yeah, because you're
thirsty
like
for what?
And then like it makes people
thirsty
like thirsty. Yeah. Right. So it's like those horrible, cheesy, like dating profile pictures with like their like shirtless in like the mirror, and it's like, just came from the gym, bro. Like, which are a total nightmare. Let's be real.
I've been thinking about moving into it myself, actually, but
I mean, you do you. But basically, so that's a thirst trap. Or like The girls that are like,
Gotcha.
I'm in a bikini, you know, it's like, okay, that's cool. No, I love my bikini, but I don't post pictures of myself in my bikini on Instagram to get attention, right? Like there's a difference. The energy is different. So anyway, so if you post thirst traps, you get taken to horny jail, or if you post like, you know, like disrespectful, like, ooh, girl, I'm gonna slide into your DMs, like type of things. It's like, you need to go to horny jail, honey. That no, you've been arrested. Go.
So
So
how would that work? They would send like a coin from
yeah,
the account to them.
yes,
So it
you would
would
have
sit
to
in there.
you have to
Yeah,
pay for your
gotcha.
crimes exactly. So there was like horny jail, and then one that I discovered much more recently was salty DMs or salty DM
You
because
have been investigating.
oh I have been yeah no it's but I love it it's hilarious and I think it's really funny and also dad jokes to make you laugh um,
Mm.
because if you're like trying to like take yourself too seriously you like he posts like a dad joke so it's like it's just sort of like it's like this little like playground type of place.
It is right. Now, when you first came in, did you feel lost? Did you feel overwhelmed? Like, I don't know what to do? Or were you just kind of like, "Oh, let's work this out," and just kind of just went exploring?
There were two parts to it. I think number one, I'm very lucky because I used to work in social media and I used to work in marketing and I used to work in digital marketing. So I know how to market on Twitter. I know how to market on Instagram. I know how to market on Facebook. I know how the algorithms work. Like I know all of these things, right? YouTube. I know how to do SEO. Yeah, playground. Yeah, Matarshi says playground is a perfect description. It is. It's a playground for all of us, and I love that it
Mm.
has that feeling. But yeah, so I'm very lucky that I knew kind of going in how to do quote unquote marketing and branding. I also worked in branding. So for me, it was very easy to just go into Canva, start creating content, you know, create a clout instead of a tweet, um, go and meet people and talk to people. But that was the fun part is going and meeting and talking to all these new people
Mm.
because with traditional social media, sorry, with the old media,
With
um,
that fake media, fake
uh,
social media.
yeah, I won't even get into it. But with old media, with the free employees, um, it worked because your friends were like, "Hey, come join this." Like I also remember in 2004, my friend said, "You have to join this social media platform. It's called Facebook. Everybody's on it." And I was like, "Ugh, it sounds really annoying." But eventually, I signed up like everybody else. Um, and giving a little hint to my age here, I'm 42. I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I'm actually really comfortable
We're
at
in
40.
the.
Um,
I tell you, Lisa, 40. Like I'm 40 myself, and it's. I think it is. I'm so glad to be 40. It's like people go, "Oh, I wish I was 20." It's like, that's selective memory. It's pretty good to be 40.
yeah, what is it? Nostalgia is a memory of a past that never existed.
Well said. Well said.
But
But yes,
I don't
so
remember. I feel like I'm not answering your question. What was the question?
you were basically saying that your experience with social media, from what I'm understanding here, really helped
Yes.
you when you arrived in
Yes.
finding you.
Yeah, and the thing is, I very much feel like for me it was a really awesome chance to put to work a lot of the things that I know and have done because I was a business coach and I'm looking to build a business, and this is an awesome platform for entrepreneur. I feel like it was. Well, Mark and I like to laugh together. That's just what we do. We just have fun and we play.
I'm looking forward to when we're in person, Lisa. We're gonna
Yeah,
we're gonna have a
totally.
great time.
But yeah, so the platform is an amazing place for entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur. The platform is an amazing place for investors. I'm not a crypto investor and I'm not a day trader, but I do invest in the stock market. And I think
Mm.
that knowing and having financial literacy, especially for women, is extremely important. I used to run an investment club.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, it was an investment club for women. We had one man, Corey, he's awesome. But yeah, so there was that. And then I used to work in branding and social media, and I used to teach it to people. So for me, it was just very easy to use a platform. I very much loved and enjoyed using the platform. I loved meeting everyone and talking to everyone. And this was my point, was that with Facebook, you signed up because your friends were all there and you were just joining them online, right? Before there
Hmm.
wasn't this sort of, before this company, there was not, it's like Voldemort, I don't want to say its name.
Yeah.
There was not this place sort of online. Yes, we had MySpace, but that was whatever. But we all, those of you who remember, my top five friends. But there was not this sort of gathering place online for us. Yeah, we had like AIM Messenger and those things, but this was the first place where we could really post photos and like and comment. And then, they hired growth hacking experts. Um, and yeah, but BitClout was different because none of us knew each other.
Mm.
I knew Lucy. I didn't know anybody else. So when things like you mentioned, like the Nacho Average call popped up, I went because I was like, well, I want to meet all of these people that I've been talking to, all of these screen names that you can't really tell a lot about people just from what they post. Number one, you don't always see personality. When somebody is just talking
Yeah.
with characters, you don't see personality. Um, Also, too, we read things through our own filters. So somebody who knows me as a friend, when I post something, they understand it in my voice. Somebody who doesn't know me and has only seen the characters that I type on a page, they won't understand or hear my tone of voice or understand if I'm being sarcastic or if I'm joking, because I have a very dry sense of humor. But they don't know that, so they might take what I say very seriously. Like I make jokes all the time about, yeah, women need to be in the kitchen making pie and babies, right? And
Lisa said that, not me.
I
Okay,
did,
just
no. And I say it with like a totally straight face, but
yeah.
obviously I 100% do not feel that way. I mean, if people want to do
And
it,
I appreciate that so much about you, Lisa. Like, it's one of those things, right? That the sense of humor is like in the Gene Keys work that we do. We talk about humor being the cure for shame. And
yeah,
that's where I actually went into stand up for a period. And it was like, it was a place where you could just take the dirty, shameful, gritty stuff and just ridicule it and be absolutely silly about it.
yeah,
So I really appreciate it,
yeah.
that you do bring that to the table.
Well, and I love
Mm.
what you say about laughter and shame because part of the work that I do is with the emotional vibration scale. And shame is the very lowest vibration energy. And what we are really
Mm.
trying to do, if anybody's heard the term light worker, what we're trying to do as light workers is raise the vibration. We're trying to transmute or change shame, fear, guilt, doubt, anger, pride,
Mm.
right? We're trying to transmute those things into love, into joy, which is laughter, is an expression of joy, into peace, and into just connection with everyone. That's,
Mm.
that's why we're here.
Mm. I love that. I love that. You know what else I love about that, Lisa, is that there's no belief systems needed for that. There's no dogma there. It's a simple thing that, we witness it every time we come together. I mean, how many times in Nitro Average with our beloved Matreshka here and Alex and all these other crews watching, where we, no matter how tight or tense it got, every now and then someone would just make a crack a joke about something. Everyone's laughing, and all of a sudden we're connected again. We're
Yes,
back there. The hearts are open, the love's flowing, and forgiveness flows easily. Mm.
exactly. And that's exactly what, to put it through a different framework or through a different viewpoint, that's the work ultimately, I believe, as a spiritual teacher, that we're all here to do. We're all here, at least I know for me personally, my purpose is to do that, is to transmute that low vibration energy to higher vibration energy. And you do that through pulling people up into the heart space, because we always say you want to vibrate at love and above, because The frequency of love is sort of like where you start. So unconditional love, forgiveness comes from there as well. Then there's joy, then there's peace, then there's sort of enlightenment consciousness or
Mm.
universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's exactly what would happen is that and this is why I would always talk about like, oh, I'm really sensitive to the energy of the platform, because if you just look at it as an organism, there's an energy,
Mm.
right? When we had the Raj pulse, the energy shifted from we all love each other, everything's great, right? We were up here. And then it started messing with people's money, which is
Mm.
like root chakra survival stuff. So everybody started getting like angry and fearful and, throwing blame around and all these things. And so it dragged down the energy of the platform. And then like I had to leave. Like during that period, I was like, I don't, as a practice of self compassion, I left the platform during that time. Hey, Clay! Clay's here too. Yeah, no, I left the platform during that time because I was like, I'm not a masochist and I'm not going to subject myself to this. So,
I think it's a really good point you're bringing in right here, Lisa, for me is that we do have a choice,
yeah,
that we have a choice of the environments to an extent. Some people, their situations are not as free with choices, but it's often, I feel like a lot of us miss the fact that we do actually have choices right here within our experience, and that you don't have to be on the platform all the time. And if something's really pissing you off, you can block them. You can just remove them
yes,
from your perception
yeah,
in that space. And so there are powers. I saw this on Facebook, social media, those old places where, everyone would get so upset, but then forget that you can just remove that person,
well, also
if they're really causing, discomfort.
I think also too, people forget that not responding is also an option. Not commenting is also an option.
Mm.
Ignoring people is also an option. Leaving is also an option, right? You don't have to fight,
Mm.
right? You can just say, this isn't for me. I'm going to go somewhere that is for me.
It's like that old saying, right? It takes two to tango. And in my years of work, I've come to discover that is absolutely true, that it does take the two energies to combine. And I have been so guilty in the past of, you get caught in those debates on social media, commenting, and you just can't leave that last comment. They say something, it's ridiculous and you want it. And it's like, you don't actually have to respond. And it's funny watching what's going on inside when that happens.
Well, what's happening is that your identity self, your ego, is taking over because it's needing to defend itself and be right against the identity self and ego of this other person.
Mm.
Egos are really funny. They help us if we can use them in the right way, but they can also get us into a lot of trouble because we think, well, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do this, or I'm supposed to be this, or I'm really worried about what other people think. I and like the ego is never satisfied. Like it just keeps craving more and more and more and more and more, and that's why you find these people that are like, why am I so rich, but I'm miserable? It's because you're pursuing external validation and external stores of value rather than really being connected to who you are inside and really having, well, it's a really long topic, but essentially what's happening is that your need to be right and their need to be right, because everybody needs to be right, otherwise what am I doing here, like you know
Those deep instinctual fears of rejection, of being kicked out of the village, right? Like these old, genetic memories of time, they come back.
yeah,
We
but it's
think that we still need to be right to stay in the
yeah,
village, but we
yeah,
don't.
but we don't. We can just, it just we can agree to disagree.
Yeah. So with that, Lisa, with that said, it's where we're going into a whole new realm here, right? Where creators, people from all around that haven't had super experience with the financial world, investments, etc., suddenly exposed to the whole thing. There's people coming on, and there's so much opportunity there. What are some of what would you say is some of the best tips you could give someone because people are going to have to learn to not look at their coin price, for example, for validation of their worth. If someone sells their coin, buys their coin, what's your take on that, on what the challenge we have ahead with people that are coming on? And do you have any tips for how they can handle that?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. For me, one of the most genius things that the BitClout node does is they don't show the coin price. They show the word support. Sorry, they don't show the coin price, and then instead of buy, they show the word support. And I want to say Not Your Average does this as well. Like those two things alone, for me, humanize the platform so much more. Because I'm not buying someone, which is weird. It turns them into a number. And it turns them into, I'm using them as a vehicle for my own personal gain. And I don't like that. It turns it into, this is my friend and I support them. And it sort of fosters those relationships. So I think just language.
So this is like back to that code switching you were kind of talking about at the beginning of this conversation, right? Where we're using different languages for different places. And it really shows just how powerful that is, right? And it's like spells, right? The spells, the spelling is, how we spell something, how we say something. They are spells. And it creates an illusion of how we perceive something depending on the words we use. So it is a very powerful thing. Absolutely.
Well, and also too, so that's sort of something that the nodes can do. And I should write an article. I love to, we'll have to read these comments afterwards. Hi, Wendy, I see you there.
I'll just read this one. Lisa Matreshka just wrote, I wrote an article on using the word support instead of saying buying the person or coin for Russian BitClout in the early days. So yes, Matreshka, it's why we love you so much. We're all in the same wavelength.
Yeah, Matreshka is because she's so in touch with her feminine, she's very intuitive, and she's so in touch. And by being in touch with her feminine, I mean she's a yoga teacher. She's certified as a yoga teacher. She works with advocacy. She's very in touch with that side of herself. So so of course she picks up on these types of things. Matreshka for president. Sorry, Matreshka, I won't vote for Brock. I'll vote for you. Nothing against Brock, but So that's sort of the external part of it, is that the language that's used on the platform is extremely important and needs to be considered. The second part is the internal, because we have been so conditioned over the last 17 years with the old media companies to seek external validation, to chase likes, comments, engagement, right? And the fact that, to just show how mad, and not mad angry, but mad crazy, and I'm Europe, sometimes I say British things, the fact that like how crazy it has gotten, that there are like engagement pods and bots that buy likes, and you can hire engagement specialists. Like, really? That's a thing? Like, come on. So we've been so conditioned over the last 17 years. And I think that we, at our age, we're very lucky because we remember the world before it was like this. Like, I was a fully formed 22-year-old-ish, I don't remember. But I was in my 20s when it started. So like, I had already, like my prefrontal cortex was pretty much almost fully formed. And then also I did a lot of my work on myself to have a very strong core of self-esteem. So I listen to what other people say. If they say something that's negative about me, especially, I'll listen to be like, oh, I wonder if they're right. But at the same time, I don't rely on outside opinion to to give me self-worth. I rely on my actions and my heart and my brain to give me self-worth. So it's easy for me if somebody sells my coin, or if my coin price is $37, like, I don't care. The reason that I would care for having a low coin price is because it's sorted by coin price, which is why I keep making the suggestion, hey guys, we need to just have like a random coin price sort to show comments or whatever, or the option. I was suggesting the option because, yes, you do sometimes want to say what the most quote unquote influential people have to say, and they're at the top. But also, maybe you want to see what the least influential people have to say who are at the very bottom. And I don't want to scroll through a whole bunch of comments. The same thing happened with the showcase, the NFT showcase. I didn't get through the first like 5 pictures because like I don't care. And so I thought things like, we need to have a sort reverse coin price order. We need to have sort random coin price order. And I mean, these are such suggestions. I'm not a dev, but I do know coding. I have studied coding, and so I know not everything is as easy as it seems.
That's very handy when you're putting ideas to them, because it's nice to be able to understand
Yeah.
the challenges they face. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So I think that the advice that I would give would be, work on yourself, work on loving yourself, being comfortable with yourself, being happy with yourself. Because when you have that sort of inner, that inner core of self-esteem, you're not really swayed by those outside superficial things like coin price. And you know that your
Absolutely.
value is not your coin price, despite the little number next to your profile.
Beautiful. Lisa, I'm just aware of the time. Like, time has flown by so quickly speaking to you. So I think we just need to do this at least once a season, if not more often. So because I need to give some space to the others to ask questions of you, as much as I'd like to just take all the time for myself. Now, is that
Can
maybe
I
the
have like
clay we've got in the room?
I
Yes.
do. I have a little list of like people that I want to give like a shout out to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any projects, people, go for it. You can do that. And just before you do, Lisa, anyone that's tuning in right now, I've got Jamie Paul has commented in here. I so agree. Loving this conversation. Thank you so much. If you're watching this live stream right now and you want a question to Lisa or a comment, please do chuck them in the chat now. And while we're doing that, Lisa, you jump ahead with your shout outs.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to mention, I made a little list because I have a horrible memory. So I was like, I'm going to leave people off. Okay. So I wanted to give a shout out to people who, not investment advice, but investment advice, people who you should at minimum check out. If you choose to invest, I'm sure they would love it. And just, yeah, these are really great people to know. So I want to give a shout out, obviously, to Doodles Academy, all my cohort members. Doodles has been so great. He's doing this for free. And it really is paving the way for not just the 10 of us who were lucky enough to be chosen, but also every single creator. Like the things that we're kind of like figuring out as guinea pigs benefits everybody. And he's doing it for free. So thank you, Doodles Academy. Grass has his protagonist. I put a little post if you want to check out everybody's projects. I put a post yesterday. But Grass Basime, we've been bonding. He's really amazing. He wants to do free business education based on happiness. Which, how cool would that be? Gabrielle has his galleries. So check out Doodles Academy. Yeah, and I think Conchi, obviously Conchi needs no introduction, but we all love Conchi, and I think he's somebody who has, I was telling him this yesterday, he's somebody who has such a good heart, and he's such a good person, and he's so smart. And yeah, he's the type of person that I would trust with my life. and I would trust with a project that was very important to me. So support him, support DeSo Labs that he's going to be doing, Aspiration as well, his VR project. I think, and then there's other people like Amina Beck and Saul who are doing STET, Clout Forum, you and Alex, Michelle Lord and Katie Ann with the Clout Chats, the Clout Women Unite, Create Her Fund, Miss Creator Fund, from Mario and Zuby, Ben Orloff doing altruism, the altruism coin, Taunaya with Mintech, Millie Tamati. Hopefully we can get her back. And then people who are doing things to build out the BitClout ecosystem, like the Chime in Metaverse, and creators. Creators is so important for mainstream adoption because for people to become professional BitClouters or professional DeSoers, they need income. So with creators, that gives us a way to do that. So
and a big shout out to creators because they pinned this event to their feed as well,
great.
So that people could see it was here.
Yeah. Oh, and then Darian, we love Darian. Darian Parrish. He's one of the mentors for Doodles Academy. He's so smart, and he's so again, the spirit of BitClout is about giving and about asking, how can I help rather than what's in it for me. And Darian, and I mean, obviously people benefit in whatever way they benefit. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, we're all puppies and sunshine, we love each other. In a way, yes, but also too, I won't.
And it's all part of thriving, right? It's all part of thriving. It's receiving and giving. Those who are giving so much, we want them to prosper. We want them to thrive.
Yeah.
Because that's the people you want to have the abundance that can share it well.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
And Matryoshka. Hey. Everybody loves Matryoshka. And Nirvana.
And Nirvana, absolutely. So Lisa, Jamie Paul, or is it Jamie Paul? Not sure which way to pronounce it. He's saying, can you type their handles into the comments? Did you say you've got a post on your profile where they can find these people? You've done a post?
I have a post with the Doodles Academy people, but I can do a separate post after we finish with the people that I just kind of gave shout outs to. And then
maybe you can chuck it under the replay when we put it out. If you're up for it, that'd be awesome.
I don't have their profiles. I just wrote their little names.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. And we can do that. So Jamie, look for the replay when it comes out, and we'll get those in there somehow. Yeah. Beautiful. So just want to do a shout out. Clay Perry was here briefly. I'm not sure what happened there, but Wendy Lee is here. Wendy, so much love to all that you and Clay did with setting up Nitro Average, holding that space, and everything else you guys are doing in the platform as well. We love you to pieces. Wendy was saying she's looking at making some of those changes on nitroaverage.com, which is the Nitro Average node, to get those things there. So it's going to be good seeing these innovations happen. And now I'm going to hand it over to Alex, Lisa, because he's got a few questions for you.
Okay.
You ready, Alex?
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Fire away.
Hey, Lisa, nice to see you. So I've got some questions for you about your personality and what you prefer in life and so on and so forth. So they're going to be very short, but your answer can be as long as you want. So here we go. Who are your king and queen on DeSo?
Ooh, that's a good one. My queen is Kirsten Amers. She's also in Doodles Academy. She's amazing. I'm really looking forward to connecting with her more. She does leadership coaching, but intelligent leadership. So for me, she's the queen. And then the king. Maybe Arts?
Good choice. But why?
He just comes with his presence and is like, Daddy's here. And he's really funny. Arts is just hilarious. But also he's very regal in that he commands respect.
Mm-hmm. Good choice. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we have 2 nominees now for making our choice on King and Queen of DeSo for the future.
Is this for prom?
Maybe we will do some sort of contest. We don't know.
When I need to know, because it very much feels a little bit like high school. Like, when is the DeSo prom? That's my question.
Are we all going to be lined up around the walls waiting for someone to ask someone to dance?
Okay, let's go further. So what's your bravest action in life?
Ooh, my bravest action in life. I think it's really interesting. The thing about bravery is that when we do things that others might consider brave, we don't think that it's brave. We just think that it's either doing the right thing or doing what needed to be done. So I don't really think anything that I've done is particularly brave, to be perfectly honest.
I think brave means when you are going out of your comfort zone, and this you can consider as a brave action for you, because you have struggles in your brain. No matter what is the action, how it's small or big, it doesn't matter. It's all about what's happening in your mind, what you get used to do, and what you haven't got used to do. And so you can consider the bravery as this sort of thing.
Okay. I think that if you know anything about Myers-Briggs personality types, I'm an INFJ, which is the advocate, the activist. And which means I can be a bit of a pain in the ass for some people. And so for me, bravery and I guess courage, acting on that bravery is when I stand up for things that I believe in, even if I know it might screw me over.
Yeah, can you pick a story about it?
I won't go too into it, but because I don't want to put anybody on blast. But I feel very strongly about porn, for example.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
I love tantra, but I hate porn. Because one is yummy and sexy and wonderful, and the other is not. The other leads to violence against women.
I'm not sure how it's possible to think in that way. You're a very unique person.
Yeah, no, but I mean, but anyway, so and it's very, it's like people have really bad sex, and it's just nobody wins, right? So I'm very vocal about I don't want to see porn on the platform. I don't like it. As a woman, it triggers me.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman, it feels very aggressive and very bro culture to see a giant ass on my feed. I don't want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that is not a popular opinion among people who maybe come from a bro culture, which, let's be real, when you're in a space that is tech, it's all men. Crypto, it's all men. VC, I won't say all, mostly. It's mostly men. VC, it's mostly men. Crypto, it's mostly men. So
yeah.
Right? So me saying that, to me, I think is brave, just to voice an unpopular opinion in a particular group. If I go to a group of women and I say, sorry, can I? I don't want to say that.
Yeah. We are not saying BC. We can say whatever we want.
Right? I can just be like, I fucking hate porn. Like, why? Like, what is with these people? Just like, do they not realize what we go through as women? Do they not understand how hurtful it is to be objectified, to just be viewed as like a vagina? Like, do you not understand that? And like, no. And I have empathy. Like, they don't understand that because they don't experience it. So, and again, this goes back to persecution, because I'll be labeled like angry woman, blah, blah, blah. But it's not that. It's that, do you not understand that you participating in that hurts people like me?
Mhm.
It might not be directly, but indirectly, absolutely. Those women in those videos, they were probably abused as children. You don't want to think about that, but it's probably true. They probably don't really want to be there, most of them, not all of them. And again, I'm risking persecution with my opinion. People might cancel me, they can do what they want. People will say, oh, you're being too serious. I mean, it is serious. Like, women being raped is a serious thing. And when my friend calls me after a date crying because she was sleeping with a guy for the first time and he starts choking her and being violent, I think we all know where that came from.
Mhm.
So things like that. So I guess for me, that would be kind of a brave thing, is voicing unpopular opinions
Mhm.
in service of authenticity. I'm not going to sit there and pretend that I'm okay with just seeing tits and ass all over the place. I'm not comfortable with it, because women are so much more than that.
Okay, let's switch the topic.
I can be serious. Like, people don't know, but like, I can be very, like, I'm actually, I most of the time I don't talk. Most of the time I just like think about stuff, but ask me my opinion and I will give it to you.
I mean, it's brilliant to hear from you these kind of things, because from my point of view, speaking about global feed and seeing the excesses in the feed and so on and so forth, I think we have another type of group here, and who are not pursuing this kind of content. I'm not ready to say that it's all because of men, they like it or so on and so forth. But speaking about me, I'm not enjoying to see it as well, because I'm not going to BitClout for this type of content for now. When there will be a node, so everybody can go to this node and enjoy these kind of things on their own, so it can't affect others. Maybe Mark stick to the same opinion or something like this. So I'm sure there are plenty of men who are not enjoying CNSs coming to BitClout as well.
Actually, can I add something before Mark shares his opinion? I'm not saying that it's all men, because most men that I talk to are like, I don't really want to see that. Like, my daughter goes on here, or like, like, and I'm not saying that women don't enjoy it. Like, there are women who very much are like, I'm really into this. I really like it. And I think also too, there's the whole, I mean, I could talk about sex all day. Anybody who knows this about me. I love talking about sex and everything related to sexuality and sensuality. It's one of my favorite topics. But there's also kind of the flip side, because, for example, this is why this is on my mind, is because one of my friends, actually my friends who I mentioned to you about, this group of women, they run a boudoir photography business. So if you go to their Instagram, it's a bunch of women in lingerie. And it's beautiful women in lingerie. And it's strong and powerful women in lingerie. And it's women in lingerie because they feel comfortable and sexy and sensual and beautiful and womanly, right? They're not doing it for the male gaze. They're doing it for themselves. But if you go to that Instagram profile, because our minds, not our minds, some minds automatically go, sex. No, there's more subtlety to it. There's a whole spectrum of sexuality and sensuality, and some of it is exploitative, and some of it is, I don't like the word empowerment, but some of it is empowered and empowering. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Like my friends and their Instagram technically would be, if we're categorizing things, people might be like, oh, well, they should be on OnlyFans. No, they're not. It's not porn.
You are able to control your voice in that great level that when you are describing these sort of things and giving examples about sex and that you're loving to do it, you are doing it is in that way that I've catched the vibes of porn as well. So we are going to ASMR stream or something like this. I'm just kidding. But I'm not saying that.
Alex, I'm just going to jump in here and say, for some light conversation about discovering personality, that opened up one of the biggest rabbit holes that is a slippery slope of conversation. It's a big one. It's a big one that needs to happen. But
Mark, you know what, honey? Don't be scared. This is a huge part of my personality. I study Tantra and I work with masculine and feminine energy. So I love talking about men and women and how we relate and our relationships. And I love talking about, so this is actually a huge part of my personality. I don't reveal it.
Absolutely, Lisa. Yeah, I was referring more to actually starting a conversation around it. It's that's going to require more time and space to go in there. Absolutely. Totally. And I think it should happen again.
So to wrap it up, I'd like to say that we are not saints, about men's, but we are not going to BitClout for this type of content. There are other sites, and maybe there will be some other notes for it. Going further. So let's switch the topic and talking about what's your favorite cake?
Cake. Ooh, I do love cake. It's a tie between red velvet and carrot. With a little mascarpone on top.
So sorry, can you repeat it? I didn't hear it clearly.
So red velvet, carrot, and then like mascarpone frosting is really yummy.
Yummy. And have you noticed the Design Star Food Challenge that Mark did with some other guys?
I saw something about it, but I didn't know what it was. I know Felix was there or something, right?
Mark, can you explain in a few words?
How am I getting drawn into this Q&A at the end so often? You're drilling her, Alex. No, we did a little. We had a bit of fun with the food challenge, and they said that Vegemite and peanut butter was a good combination. And so I did a little video with Felix, and we explored that. Why are you going there, Alex? What are you thinking?
Am I going to give you a food challenge, Mark?
Yeah,
Alex?
Why not?
No, hang on. Where are you going with this, Alex? That's what I'm curious
about. I was going. I was asking Lisa to do this and remind everybody that Tijan and Salil wanted to repeat this challenge, and maybe it's the time to relaunch it when they've got their how it says this, Mark, this ingredient. How do you name it?
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Yeah.
Vegemite, or also called Marmite over in Europe and England. Marmite.
Vegemite, mate.
So Lisa, you have your own challenge suggestion?
Like a food for Mark to make? Or for me to make?
Yeah, for you to make. Maybe.
Sure. So because I live in Spain, I can make like a Spanish dish. There's something we eat here called Tortilla Patatas, which is, it's really good. I love food. I'll do a food challenge anytime. So it is essentially, you fry really thinly sliced potatoes with onion. And then for like a good 20 or 25 minutes, you drain it from the olive oil, because we do everything with olive oil. And then you mix it with egg. And then you, hello, hey Daniel. Then you mix it up with egg, put it into a pan, and then you cook it. And then you flip it with a plate. And it's this beautiful, like round, eggy, potatoey, oniony, yummy, delicious Spanish food. And you can eat it hot, you can eat it cold, you can put different ingredients in it. It's really good. Hi Daniel, welcome. So it's super yummy.
Cool. So how many?
I think rather than a food challenge, that's an incredible recommendation, Lisa. And while you guys have been doing that, I've been getting paid out by Lucy over on YouTube that's questioning my Australianness and for saying that Vegemite and Marmite were the same thing. And absolutely, Lucy, you are 100% correct. Vegemite is the preferred choice. It is a completely different thing. I do also agree on that. I was keeping it simple for the broadcast, but now you brought my Australianness into question. We have to make sure that's very clearly defined. Vegemite is definitely the far superior.
Yeah. No, Lucy, I love Lucy. Oh, I love Lucy. Lucy is one of the smartest, funniest, coolest, nicest, most humble people you will ever meet. She's good people.
What's Lucy's handle on BitClout?
It's Luce, Luce.
All right, awesome.
And
yeah, track you down now, Luce.
Invest in her memes. She made a really funny one. What was the one you did yesterday, Luce? It was the one where the girl in the red dress walks by, and then the couple holding hands. The guy like turns around, and the girl goes, and so the girl in the red dress was Natter. The guy was all the girls on BitClout, and then the girl going was Mario. Bless you, Mario. We know we love you.
That was a brilliant one.
It was a really good one, yeah. But it's like Lucy says, if I make fun of you, it's because I like you. Like it's in her profile. She doesn't like you. She doesn't bother with you.
Yeah. Let's proceed further, please. Yeah. So we know that you are speaking in 5 languages, and what are they?
So yeah, I speak them at different levels because some I'm more of a beginner, but some like I'm fluent. So I speak English, obviously it's my native language. I speak Spanish because I've lived here for 11 years. I speak Italian because I studied it for a year and then I went to live in Italy for 6 months. I speak French because I love French and France, and I had been planning on moving to Paris, so I learned French. And I speak German, very basic German, because as you guys mentioned earlier, I used to be an opera singer. And the way that I like to sort of describe it is that when you're an opera singer, it's kind of like you are doing a musical, or for the language aspect of it, a play in a foreign language. And with opera, the main languages are Italian, German, and French. So if you're going to do a play in Italian, your life is much easier if you speak Italian. So that's why I studied those languages, is because for, the 10 years that I was pursuing opera and doing my master's and then, auditioning and all those things, I spent a lot of time working with those languages and singing in those languages, and then also traveling, so speaking those languages. And I was a tour guide and all those things. So, yeah.
Cool. And so you have a talent to languages, and you have a great talent at doing different accents, like you said before. Yes. So could you impersonate someone from BitClout?
Let's see. Who can I impersonate? I don't want to do it in like a making fun of them kind of way.
Why not? If you know, they will be okay with it.
I have a really good one. So I really like the way that Clay speaks when he speaks slowly and when he's like making like a commentary. And so there was some like I remember on Natural Average there was some like drama about something, and I don't remember what. And Clay was like, "She's just being messy." And I was like, that's Clay, yeah. It's like, he's just slow, he's calm. She's just being messy. So maybe that's my impression.
Could you try to do a Matryoshka? She's asking.
Matryoshka, oh gosh, Russian accents. I'm not great at Russian accents.
Just hear my words. Just hear my sentences.
Miss Lizzie, what's something that Matryoshka says frequently? Hello, Alex.
Yeah, let's tune in Matryoshka. She will say a few things, and you can.
Yeah, it's much better if I can hear it and then just repeat it.
Absolutely.
Matryoshka.
Okay, now it's working.
Wolf.
Hi, what would you like me to say?
Hi, what would you like to say?
That sounds very similar to me. Yep. Even I
That
could
sounds
hear
very-
that.
That sounds very similar to me. Yeah, even I can hear that.
I am Lisa Mariette, and sometimes I act silly.
I am Lisa Mariette, and sometimes I act silly.
And I also love Mark
You want to
Bentley
see
very,
Pepe?
very much.
Do you want to see Pepe?
Yes, of course I want to see Pepe.
Let me go grab him.
It's been a couple of months since I've seen Pepe.
Yeah.
Pepe is Lisa's dog, who is super adorable. And it was, while I'm here, I just want to say that it was so amazing listening to you guys. It's past 3 a.m. here, but it just
Aw.
was so entertaining. Hi, Pepe. Hi, Pepe. He doesn't care.
Anyway, this is Pepe. He's not thrilled about the fact that white supremacists have co-opted his name, but I haven't told him. So, no, I'm kidding. So yeah, this is Pepe.
Pepe.
And Matryoshka and Pepe love each other.
Hey, say hi. Hi, Pepe.
He licks my nose. When he doesn't know what's happening, he licks my nose.
I would lick your nose if I were happy. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do.
Matryoshka, would you do it even if you weren't Pepe?
I will do it. I will do it when I see you, Lisa. I will lick your nose.
Let's just lick each other. I mean, I don't see
Yep,
why not. We're all family.
Why not? I would happily lick everybody's face in this room.
That is love.
That'll be a live Clout forum podcast we got to do.
You're my friend, but would you lick my face? That's the test.
Yes, I think that's like true friendship. You don't want to lick anybody's face who like you don't feel really, really close to.
Yeah, you're like, but would I lick your face? No. All right, let me go put him back because his little claws make noise.
Oh,
Okay,
That's good
so
to see you, Matryoshka.
yeah,
All right, we better
Thank
move
you.
on.
Join
We're going to end up with a
Yeah,
hangout session here for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot we're in a podcast.
Alex is going.
I'm cool with it. I love hanging out with y'all.
Beautiful. Thank you, Matryoshka. Love you to pieces.
Thank you. Thanks for staying up.
so that's all from me. And I know you have something to announce. Please, Mark, Lisa, continue.
Alrighty, Lisa. So now we're moving into the giveaway as we come into the close. So I'll tell you what, Lisa, I'm going to share the NFT. Yeah. We got to get a drum roll going on. We need to do beatboxing. All right. This is a girl of many. All right. If you're not following Lisa Mariette, you should be, and follow it. It's going to get more entertaining. We're going to have more fun as the years go on. And I love the fact, Lisa, this is just the beginning. All right. I'm going to bring up here a screen share of the NFT. And do you want to tell us about this, Lisa, your little giveaway?
Well, it was designed in Canva using a photo from Unsplash. Yeah, so basically, so we talked about a little earlier that I'm a spiritual teacher, and the thing that I really like to focus on is meditation. And so what I did was I created a, and so you can book a meditation session with me if you want. I created an NFT, and I'm also doing a giveaway of a meditation session. So essentially the rules to win the, and then you also win an investment. I'm not a whale yet. So it's not the biggest investment, but I'll be like, everybody invest in this person or something. I don't know. I don't really know.
You'll have Lisa Mariette on your coin holders list, which is a great thing to have. Valuable in itself, Lisa.
I thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. People think I do, but I don't.
It's the best way. It's the best way.
I just like to have fun. So essentially the way that you win the investment and the free meditation session, it'll be an hour, tailored to your needs, is on this post, right? Because I want to, I know how important it is for people to feel like they're supported, for creators to feel like they're supported, and not only to feel that way, but to actually be supported. And in this case, support, while it can come in a million forms, whether that's mentoring, whether that's, reclouting, in this case, support is an actual investment. So invest, I'm not going to put a minimum because we all live in different socioeconomic places. So $5 for someone in North America is nothing. That's a day's wage in India, right? So I didn't put a like invest this much. You can only invest 50 cents or 2 cents. Just do that. Like there's no shame in not having a lot of money, or relatively not having a lot of money, right? There's no shame in that. So invest in anybody who is a smaller creator, whether that's a builder, whether that's an NFT artist, whether it's a content creator like myself, not in me, but you know what I mean. Invest in whatever it is that they're working on. And then as long as their coin price is less than 150, because these are the people who get less exposure. And then after you've invested, come back and just tag the person and say, and give them a shout out and be like, I invested in Mark Bentley because he's a really great guy to talk to and gets it, right? And everybody needs to know about Gene Keys, right? So yeah, so just come back, and then it would be great if you could re-clout the post so that more people see it, comment on it. Yeah, and then I'm gonna pick the person for my investment, depending on how much money I have in my wallet.
So if there's anyone who wants to boost that up a bit, feel free to flick a little, flick a little DeSo Lisa's way that she can boost that investment if you like.
I'm not going to give all of it, obviously, but I would like to make a for me, what is a sizable contribution to another small creator on the platform. And then and then once I pick the winner, then they just bid on this. It's a penny, and yeah, and then the other one is for you guys for having me here.
Yay. It's going to go in our museum, our collection. Absolutely. So just to really reinforce this, like you're saying, Lisa, an investment doesn't have to be big. Just, you invest 10 cents, then that person gets a notification saying that you took the time to hit that button and do those actions. That in itself is really supportive in the rest. And so please do go to Lisa Mariette's page profile. Make sure you're following her if you're not. And then you'll find this post sitting there. Jump in, give it a re-clout, help other people know about the opportunity, because this will really just help get more activity and engagement going on the platform as well, which is going to help win for all of us, right? And then put that little investment, a little comment as to why it's going to help people discover each other. It's a brilliant way to do it, Lisa. You've done amazing here. And the meditation, I'm a big fan of that. And I think it's such a powerful thing. So it's an experience, especially if you haven't had that kind of experience before.
Oh my gosh.
This is a wonderful opportunity to win it and put it to the gods.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, Lisa, we have a question. Yeah, I've got it, Alex. We got a question from Wendy. Wendy, did you want to come on and ask in person? Or do you want to just ask her through text? Let's see where she's at. It's always when you put people on the spot in the live room, there you go. Chat's good. She says, you never know where people are when they're sitting and listening in. Yeah, absolutely. So Wendy's question for you, Lisa, is an incredibly important one. How do we get a yoga meditation session with you? So people that love what you've been sharing, because you're an incredible human. You are such a beautiful being in so many ways. For people that want to work with you, that want to connect with you for a yoga or meditation session, etc., how do they do that?
It's actually super easy. Thank you, Wendy. That's a lovely question. Yeah, it's interesting. Wendy and I never really got the chance to know each other because we were in opposite time zones on the Nacho average. So we never talked, but we know who each other are, it's a weird thing. Yeah. So anybody who wants to work with me, what I normally do is I set up a holistic wellness conversation where we just talk about what your lifestyle is like, what you're looking to do, because meditation is a very wide umbrella and yoga is a very wide umbrella. So we would have a call where where you sort of just share what you're looking to do. I share what I do. If we think it's a good idea, we'll book we can book a session. Normally I do a package of sessions, and then we just go from there. So people can DM me, I think that's the easiest way. Just DM me or even just like leave a comment on one of my posts, because I see 99% of my notifications. So if somebody says like, just go to Yoga and Wellness or to my profile and say like, I want to book a session with you. So yeah, just comment on my posts or send me a DM, and I am here for you. We can breathe, relax, center, calm, and go through our day with love. Absolutely.
What a beautiful way to wind it all up. Lisa, you're a gem. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm looking forward to many more conversations, laughter, and deep dives into the rabbit hole with you. And I also want to do a big shout out to everyone that's joined us live, Wendy, Matreshka, everyone that's watching on the YouTube. You've got Lucy, Jamie Paul, Sean Slater, another Australian from Down Under. It's a big shout out, Sean. Thanks for tuning in. And Sly MP3 was there. Thank you everyone, because again, that's what makes this all work, the give and the take, enjoying and sharing and the storytelling, and we really appreciate you. So Lisa, thank you so much. Alex, thanks for holding the fort and bringing your magic, and we'll do it again soon.
I love to be here. You guys are awesome. And can I do a plug for Satsang for the Soul?
Oh. Yeah. You want to do a plug from
anybody who's not watching Satsang for the Soul, which is one of the Clout Forum, I guess, programs offerings with I like that, because programming is more of like the old paradigm masculine, but offerings is more of like a new paradigm. I like that wording. So little commercial. So Satsang for the Soul is amazing spiritual conversations and music. Who doesn't love music? With Mark and her name. How do you say her name? Lee Grain.
Lee Grain. Dear Filipino, dear friend and musician, who's just incredible.
Yeah. So I personally, I've watched, I want to say 3 episodes, and I absolutely love it. I think it's extremely important conversations to have, and that, it's just, it's a nice sort of oasis to go to enjoy these yummy, peaceful, loving, this type of space. So watch that show. This is me being bossy and telling people what to do. Watch the show.
I'm not the best at the self-promotion myself, so I know
that's why I'm doing it for you.
You're amazing.
Yeah, I'm terrible at self-promotion as well, so I'm like, but yeah. So for people who don't know what a satsang is, it's basically spiritual dialogue, spiritual conversation, and it's every week. Was it Mondays at 10 PST or EST?
Monday, 10 p.m. EST, which will be 10 a.m. Tuesday for us over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
beautiful. And I'll make sure to get Leon here as well, and we'll have a good chat with her and bring her.
You definitely should.
And also, if you haven't seen, everyone, Clout Feed now has, when you click on search on the Clout Feed app, you can actually see the Goddesses tab there in the search that has you, Lisa, on the list up there with many of the others. So
yeah, I saw that. That was so nice.
We're getting progress.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate the shout out. Big love to everyone. And we'll see